side, and then one more from this side.
Okay, great.
I had a question about your environmental policy when you were talking about drilling on national wildlife refuges, when you were discussing that earlier. And my thought was that, my question that comes out is, does not drilling on these domestic U.S. reserves cause more of a moral problem than the sustainability factor than you would get from being at the National Wildlife Refuge and drilling there, because you cause foreign entanglements and political strife?
I'm not sure I understand. Are you asking are you comparing offshore drilling to Arctic wildlife drilling?
Well, no, because you were talking about the danger in the wildlife refuge by drilling there to the natural order of wildlife for the food processing. And it seems like you're off balancing that problem with our energy needs with the foreign entanglement that's being caused by our dependence on foreign fuels.
My position is that conservation and changing the energy mix in the country it should be the first line of attack in solving our energy dependence. And I also feel that the wildlife refuge, it should and must remain sacred. Even if they discover enough gold under that refuge to bail out every bank and pay off our national debt, even that is not valuable enough. It is not important enough to justify trashing the final pieces of wilderness left on Earth. And so I don't see any argument for drilling in the refuge. Not the oil, not the price of gas, not the national economy, not disengaging ourselves, even if it were remotely true, which it isn't, from our dependence on countries that we don't support and that we don't want to send our money to. All of those still don't justify disrupting an ecosystem that is one of the last. You know, I went to the panel discussion last night about ecology, and one of your philosophy professors defined the term intrinsic value and said that intrinsic value is something that you just cannot put a price on. We cannot measure it in terms of things that we can get from it. Caribou will never provide us with as much of a benefit as we would get from the oil. But you have to have in your core, a sense that there is a value, a sense that goes beyond reason, a love. And love is not reason. Love is something that if you either have it or you don't. And if you don't have it, nobody's going to be able to convince you to love nature or love species. So that's my argument for keeping that nature preserve as a nature preserve. It's just not, there is no argument for oil there. If we have to go without oil and it upends other things in our lives, we'll survive. We survive without oil. Thank you. Final question?
Yeah. I think there's a number of us in here that have unlimited meal plans, and so we're eating every meal in the cafeteria and not buying much food. What's the best way that we can be ethical eaters?
Yeah, that's a good question. Two things. One, of course, and again, this goes back to the personal choice and group action thing. Personal choice is, I know that they sell bottled water on campus, and they sell it right in the food service too. You can buy it, but you can also walk right past it. That's a personal decision you can make. You can find out. Now, Chef Paul here at the school does source a lot of his goods locally, as much as he can, and he's fighting for more. There's pushback from from the suppliers, from the people who make money-based decisions, and he has to balance those. He's got to keep his job here, and so you can ask him, what are the products here today that are local? And make sure that you choose those ones. For the last 3 weeks, the tomatoes in the food service here have all been from a local farmer. Now, they have those beautiful small chestnut apples. You have to think outside of your realm of apple. Apple, sometimes people think that the only kind of apple is the red delicious apple from Washington State. But actually, he's going to start bringing in all kinds of apples from local growers. They're fantastic. Start eating apples if you're not eating them now. And make sure that your bulk on your plate is as much sourced from those things as possible, so that he doesn't have to buy more of the unsustainable goods to refill those coffers. Those are the two things that I would suggest. The other thing, of course, is band together. I'm going to get into trouble here, but they don't serve organic milk and organic eggs routinely. They're available around here. He's talking about finding ways to do it. It is expensive, but if you guys demand it,
Actually, I really appreciated that question, because I was going to come up and ask the same question. Is when you're trying to feed 1,300 people a day really fast, what are the best things that you can do? And we've talked about that a little bit, and I know Chef Paul has spent a lot of time talking about that. We don't use warabashi in our dining hall. We use bamboo chopsticks. But I already talked to Paul about using washable ones. So, we listen to your suggestions. We're trying to do it as fast as we can, and we're trying to play a leading role. And when we get rid of the plastic water bottles, I don't want to hear a peep out of one person. So, thank you so much.